When a human wants to achieve something, the very first thing they look for is a technique. A technique is a how-to, a morning routine, a rule, a practice, a methodology, like the 4 Ps and the 5 Ds. But if I may be honest with you, techniques simply do not work. As you walk down the path of life, you will have problems you'd like to fix and desires you'd like to achieve. And every corner you turn along this path, you will find someone readily waiting to hand you a technique. Every guru you follow, every video you watch, even every Google search you search, all you will find is techniques. And you will gladly accept this technique, and you'll walk away excited to apply the technique. Society has fallen, hook, line, and sinker, for the technique trap. If the problem you're dealing with is simple and mechanical, like hanging a painting up on a wall or repairing a car, then the technique you picked up will do the job. But if your problems and desires are complex and creative, which they most likely are, things like reaching your potential, building a business, playing great tennis, becoming productive, then techniques simply won't work. All they will give you is a temporary feeling of pleasure where you feel like you're making progress, but in reality you're going nowhere, and this is an incredibly dangerous illusion. The person who feels like he's getting closer to his destination will continue doing the same thing. But if that feeling of progress is an illusion, he will simply stay stagnant his whole life. If someone wants to stop procrastinating, they latch on to the Pomodoro technique, the 5-second rule, or some other tip or trick they saw online. If someone wants to be more confident, they latch on to stand up straight, make eye contact, and smile when you enter a room. If someone wants to be successful, they may listen to celebrities and entrepreneurs they look up to and copy the morning routines and habits and behaviors of those celebrities and entrepreneurs. Techniques are the foundations of many multi-billion-dollar industries, from fitness to self-help to relationships. But if we examine the effects of these techniques, we start to uncover a dark and shocking truth. They just don't work. They won't solve your problems, and they will not materialize your desires. They keep you feeling like you're making progress. They keep you constantly chasing, but never arriving. And this is something that I do not have to ask for you to trust me or believe me. You will find the evidence for this in your own life. Why? Why don't techniques work? Techniques don't work because techniques focus on symptoms, not diseases. In life, there are diseases, and those diseases lead to symptoms. And we live in a world of symptom management. But let me tell you what symptom management gets you. Symptom management gets you temporary easing in suffering, followed by long stretches of pain. A man with a chronic migraine is given painkillers. The painkillers temporarily ease the pain, but soon after the pain returns and he needs more painkillers. The reason techniques don't work is because they focus on symptoms, not diseases. And because they approach the problem from the standpoint of how to treat it, rather than from the standpoint of the origin that it gave birth. A man who wants to be confident will be told to stand up straight, make eye contact, and smile when they walk into the room. And although this may make the man appear more confident, this will not make him more confident. And because deep down he knows he's faking, eventually he will stop and he will be left with his unconfidence. A man who procrastinates will be told to use the Pomodoro technique or the 5-second rule, and these things may work for a short period of time until he defaults to his original behavior, only for him to have to try again later. A man who is stressed is told to relax through meditation. He will do this and may experience brief moments without stress as he's meditating. But the moment the meditation stops, he returns to his stressed state. Whenever someone is focusing on symptoms, they will go through fluctuations in their life. Their life will appear like a roller coaster. Periods of growth, progress, followed by lulls of slipping back to the place that they started. All techniques focus on symptoms, not diseases. And as a result of this, the best that can come is temporary relief. This will not get you what you want. Think about something you desire. Maybe freedom, maybe happiness, maybe wealth, maybe to become the best in your field. If all of these things could be achieved with a technique, a simple how, then anyone would have them, and everyone would have them. If success could be achieved with a how, all you'd need to do was read and copy Steve Jobs' autobiography, and there would be millions of people similar to Steve Jobs. But even if Steve Jobs followed the exact same path that Steve Jobs followed, he would not have achieved the same success, simply because he was following a technique, whereas his original success came naturally. If enlightenment could be achieved with an eightfold path, the world would be full of enlightened people. Instead, we have millions of Buddhists who spend their whole life trying, but never arriving. What they fail to understand is that even if Buddha himself followed his eightfold path, he would not reach enlightenment. Something strange happens when a human is given a technique. As soon as the technique reaches their ears, for whatever reason, they focus so hard on the technique that they forget about their problems and desires and focus solely on the technique. When I state this, it sounds so obviously illogical, but it's a mistake that everyone in society makes. An example: you want success. You were told that good habits lead to success. Now, for whatever reason, you forget about the success and focus solely on the habits. You start habits for no other reason than to start habits. Videos are created about the best 12 habits you need to develop. And then, when your habits break, you spend all of your energy beating yourself up about it. And you don't even realize that you've forgotten why you've started habits in the first place. Another example: you want to get healthy. You are told that diets will help you lose weight. Now, what happens next is shocking. For whatever reason, you forget about the health and you focus solely on dieting, the technique. And because you focused on dieting, the technique, when a diet pops up that may actually harm your health, you will follow it simply because you believe that it's going to help you lose weight. And you will have completely forgotten that your original goal was to get healthy. This happens in all areas of your life, and it happens all the time. When I point to the star, you will look at my finger, not the star, and thus you will have failed. It is for this reason that the Effortless Action System will have no techniques. Instead, it will help you see the world so clearly that the technique becomes obvious. And there, I have hinted on the solution to this. If techniques don't work, what does? What you have to understand is that the word how is always on the tip of your tongue. The word what is nowhere to be found. What people have failed to understand is that the how lies within the what. The solution always lies within the problem. Understanding this, the dedicated person becomes fixated on the what, on understanding reality, seeing it exactly as it is. The solution to how do you beat procrastination comes from understanding what procrastination is and where it comes from. The solution to beating anxiety comes from understanding exactly where anxiety comes from. When the fog of confusion is cleared, the path is revealed. If you are in a maze and you're trying to get out of the maze, a technique points you in a direction and sends you on your way. The technique may or may not be pointing you in the right direction, but either way, you will follow the technique. You may make some progress, then you will get stuck again, and you'll need another technique. Seeing reality lets you see and understand the complete maze. Then the direction you must walk in becomes clear. If you're in London, a technique is like a sign pointing you in one direction. Seeing reality is understanding the layout of London and all of its transport systems. As soon as you understand that, you'll get from point A to B to C to D effortlessly and quickly without a technique. The path you must go on becomes obvious. A technique will tell you what a confident person does. Seeing reality will make you confident. One of them focuses on the symptoms, the other one focuses on the disease, and when you have the disease, the symptoms will come naturally. A technique will give you a temporary fix and the illusion of progress. Seeing reality eradicates your pains and problems. The harsh truth is that even upon hearing this, for many people, the technique trap will not be avoided. People seek techniques because they don't know the what. When they understand the what, the how becomes clear. By seeing the whole of the problem, start to finish, the problem is cured. It is not that you will never use techniques. It is that once you understand the problem, the correct technique will present itself. And there is no technique to avoiding the technique trap. You cannot get up, do 10 jumping jacks, clap your hands 20 times, and look in the mirror and scream technique 5 times. That will not work. As soon as you see techniques as they are, you see the effects of techniques, the illusion of progress. Techniques will be dropped from your life, and you will have avoided the technique trap. The truth is that most people are undedicated, and as counterintuitive as it sounds, an undedicated person often doesn't really want to solve their problems, and techniques are just used to avoid the feeling of guilt of doing nothing. Techniques are used so at least they can say, I tried. The false feeling of progress that techniques give is the participation award of achieving your goals. What the undedicated person wants more than achieving his goals is to feel like he's making progress. To him, that matters more than actually achieving the goal. He is addicted to feeling like he is making progress, to learning for the sake of learning. It is simply for pleasure. The chances of you listening to this once and dropping all attachment to techniques is slim. This kind of realization, which is so counter to everything that anyone is saying, is only for the dedicated person. A truly dedicated person has such a desire to solve his problems that he could not even take the risk of listening to someone else, could not take the risk of being prescribed a technique. He would seek to understand until the how came about with 100% certainty. And that is the technique trap. In the next video, I will continue to expose delusion after delusion that society has fallen for, so that you can better understand the world and thus work within the world to achieve your desires, get insane productivity, and gain practical power. Not power over other people, but power of understanding the way the world works and knowing what needs to be done in order to solve your problems and achieve your desires. So that video you've just seen is part of the free trial for the Effortless Action System. If you want to, you can continue to watch the free videos on this channel, and the free videos are part of the free trial. But if you do want to enroll in the Effortless Action System, there's a link in the description below.